Hello students, welcome back to the Computer Concepts class. We are on PowerPoint Chapter 2, Enhancing a Presentation with Pictures, Shapes, and Word Art. This is on page 74. Please make sure you get your books out so that you are all set and ready to go, as well as your notes. That way you can follow along as we go through this lesson. So let's get right into it. Let's look at the introduction section on page 74. In our visually oriented culture, audience members enjoy viewing effective graphics. Whether reading a document or viewing a PowerPoint presentation, people increasingly want to see photos, artwork, graphics, and a variety of typefaces. Researchers have known for decades that documents with visual elements are more effective than those that consist of only text, because the illustrations motivate audiences to study the material. And you think about our culture today, our culture is motivated by visuals. We are visual learners. So if all we had to look at was text, we would not retain as much information. That being said, people remember at least 1/3 more information when the document they are seeing or reading contains visual elements. These graphics help clarify and emphasize details, so they appeal to audience members with differing backgrounds, reading levels, attention spans, and motivations. So when I am giving a presentation to an audience, it would be helpful, class, if I were to use a PowerPoint presentation. That way it gives the audience something to look at. So whenever you're doing a history project, presentation, or something for science or some other class, try to do a PowerPoint presentation, because that will enhance your presentation because you'll have visual elements. Okay, the projects you'll be doing in this portion, chapter 2, will be presentations with illustrations and shapes. And there's an example of one on page 75. I'm not going to have you do this one specifically, but that just gives you an idea of some of the concepts that we'll be learning here in this lesson. So as we cover this chapter, you are going to learn how to create the presentations by performing these tasks. You're going to format slide backgrounds, so you're going to make sure the backgrounds look presentable. You're going to insert and format pictures by applying styles and effects. You should already know how to insert pictures, but formatting the pictures will be something that we'll talk about in this lesson. Insert and format shapes, format text using word art. Some of you, I think, are familiar with word art. That's a fancy way to insert text. And then print a handout of your slides, which you will not be doing with our remote learning because you are emailing me your presentations, but I'll still show you how to print out the handouts. Turn the page 76, General Project Guidelines. The actions you perform and decisions you make will affect the appearance and characteristics of the finished document. So as you create these presentations, you should follow these guidelines. Number 1, focus on the slide text content. Give some careful thought to the words that you choose. Some graphic designers advise starting with a blank screen so that the document does not, or the theme does not distract from or influence the words. I would just say make your document theme go with your presentation so that it does not distract from the words and the message. Number 2, apply some style guidelines. Many organizations and publishers establish guidelines for writing styles. These rules would apply to capitalization, punctuation, etc. Number 3, use color effectively. Your audience's eyes are drawn to color on a slide. Number 4, adhere to copyright regulations. Copyright laws apply to printed and electronic materials. So if it's in the public domain, that's fine, or if your company owns the graphic, or if you have permission to use the graphic. So make sure you have the legal right to use the desired graphic. Number 5, consider graphics for multicultural audiences. So in today's culture, you might be talking to someone whose first language is different than yours. So some graphics have meaning specific to a culture, so be certain to learn about your intended audience and their views. And then lastly, number 6, use word art in moderation. Don't overdo it. Just like with clip art or pictures, don't overdo it, but make sure you use it in moderation. Okay, in the bottom of page 76, I think you already know how to start PowerPoint, so I'm not going to talk about that. Page 77, creating slides and changing font colors and background style. Your first slide is going to be your title slide. This is what's going to introduce your presentation to the audience. And remember, this is the default slide in PowerPoint. So when you open PowerPoint, that's the first slide you are going to see. To add a new slide, you can click the new slide button in the slides group. The way that I personally do it is I right-click the thumbnail and then I click new slide. But however you want to do it is fine in order to create a new slide. Each presentation in your PowerPoint has 12 complementary colors, which collectively are called the color scheme. This is on page 80. You can apply these colors to all slides, to an individual slide, to the notes pages, or the audience handouts. So what happens when you click a color scheme is you are clicking something that already goes together. These colors complement each other. Just like when you buy a house, not you, I guess, but you're going to do painting on your house. You want to make sure that the paint complements each other. And the same is true with your PowerPoint presentation. So an easy way to do that is just click a color scheme since the colors already go together. The main color of your slide, this is at the bottom of page 80, is the background color. This is the fundamental color of your slide. For example, if your background color is black, you can place any other color on top of it because everything goes with black. The black background will show everywhere you don't add color or other objects. The second most important color in your presentation would be what? You have your background color and then your text color. Your text color is going to contrast with the background color of the slide. Together with the background color, the text and border colors set the tone for a presentation. So for example, a gray background with black text and border sets a dramatic tone. In contrast, a red background with yellow text and border sets a vibrant tone. So you want to use good color schemes. Color schemes are going to help your text color and background color to go together. Make sure it fits with your message though. The accent colors, these are colors designed for secondary features on a slide. They are often used as fill colors on graphs and as shadows. And then you have what are called the hyperlink colors. These are engaged when you click the hyperlink text during a presentation. So for example, you're doing a presentation and you want to look at a website while you're giving your presentation. You would make a hyperlink, which is, and you guys know what I'm talking about, I think, the little underline underneath the text that you can click on and it takes you to that website. So after you click on it, it changes color, and that's the hyperlink color. Page 81, to change the presentation theme colors, if you look at the figure 2-6, you would just go to the Design tab, click on Colors, and then you can click on whatever color scheme you desire. Page 82, inserting and formatting pictures in a presentation. I think you guys already know how to insert a picture, but we do need to learn how to enhance the picture. So if I were to insert a picture, I would click the Insert Picture from the File button to display the dialog box, find the picture, and then click the Insert button. That's pretty easy. Okay, correcting a picture. This is on page 86. A couple terms that you will need to know here. One of them will be brightness. A photograph's color intensity can be modified by changing the brightness and the contrast. Brightness is going to determine the overall lightness or darkness of the entire image. Whereas contrast is a little different. That's the difference between the darkest and lightest areas of the image. So let me go to a different PowerPoint presentation. I have a picture in this one. It's a lovely picture of me and my wife. Here we go. Okay, so I've got this picture here. If I'm to click on it and I go to the Format tab, and I go to Corrections over here. Okay, here are my brightness and contrast options. You see the thumbnails on the left of this gallery are really dark. Okay, and then the ones on the right are really bright. So, and then you see the caption underneath each option. This one is brightness plus 40%, contrast plus 20%. Options that you want to look at. Some of them are more attractive than others. And then up here you have the sharpen, soften options for your picture. Okay, let me go back to my PowerPoint presentation here. Here we go. And I'll go to the next slide. Page 87, applying a picture style. A style is a named group of formatting characteristics. And in PowerPoint, you have 25, actually more than 25 picture styles that enable you to easily change a picture's look, which is a nice feature. So back to my picture here. Okay, so again, I'm on the Format tab, which is a tool tab or a contextual tab. If I click on this gallery here, there's different styles I can use. For example, I can use this oval style. If I want something with a really dark border, I could use something like this. This is a double frame black picture style. And here's another type of black picture style. And then if I want something slanted, I could use this one. That's the bevel perspective. And then you have this snip diagonal corner white. So you have just a bunch of different styles that you can pick from. Back to PowerPoint. My other PowerPoint anyway. Here we go. Apply page 89. Effects would include several different things. You could shadow the picture. You could have reflections for it. Glow, soft edges, bevel, and 3D rotation. So you might be somewhat familiar with this because I think we talked about it in Microsoft Word, at least a little bit anyway. So those are just different picture styles. The difference between effects and styles is that each effect has several options. I misspoke earlier. These are styles, or these are effects, I'm sorry. These are effects. Each effect has several options, providing you with more control over the exact look control, whereas styles, not as many options, okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop there with part 1. Video for part 2, where we're going to discuss fills and some other nice features in PowerPoint.